Today's video is sponsored by Backcountry, so Backcountry, thank you for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so check this out. I combed the internet for sleeping bags, and I was looking for the best of the best in three categories: expensive, mid-range, and budget. So I got them here today. But before we get into all of those sleeping bags, I got a few things that I really need to cover about sleeping bags. So if you want to skip to the sleeping bags, I'll put a timestamp right here. Otherwise, I'm going to ramble on a little bit about what to expect when you're buying a sleeping bag. All right, first we need to talk about EN ratings. EN ratings is just like a standard that sleeping bag manufacturers use across the board to make sure that everybody's honest. So they go through an EN rating process, which is like they stick a mannequin inside of a bag, they stick it in some room, they measure a bunch of stuff, and then they pop it out with some rating that it's supposed to be comfortable at. But there's really three ratings to an EN rating. There is the comfort rating, there is the transition rating, and then there's the survival rating or the risk rating. And sleeping bag manufacturers can use any one of those three on a sleeping bag and then put it out to market. So when you're looking at a 20-degree bag, the rating may actually be the survival rating, or it could be the comfort rating. You really don't know unless you dig into their website and find out, or maybe some company is gonna list it on the bag itself. So rule of thumb is always add 10, 15, possibly 20 degrees to a bag rating when you're buying it, so you know what temperature it's really going to be comfortable at. The other thing is down versus synthetic. So down insulation is feathers, synthetic is man-made, and synthetic is good, supposedly good, when it gets wet. But I have a question for you. How many of you out there have actually slept in a completely wet sleeping bag? So does it even matter to you if it's synthetic or not? I mean, to me, I can't imagine being comfortable, even if I'm warm, inside of a synthetic bag. I mean, I suppose if I'm in some survival situation, but that would be probably the only circumstance, pretty rare. And down insulation is good because it's a lot lighter and it's a lot more packable than synthetic. So it's really appealing to people who want to have a lot more room in their pack and have a lighter pack, but it doesn't do as well for warmth when it's wet. But again, does that really matter to you if it's wet? I mean, you're not gonna wanna sleep in it anyway. And then the other thing that you need to think about with sleeping bags is, in order to achieve a true comfort rating of the bag, it's gotta have a couple different factors happening. It's gotta have you being either layered properly or on a sleeping mat that's rated properly for the bag, and the bag has to be used properly. Like, it has to be laying properly on you. So some bags have insulation in different spots, and so you really got to pay attention to that when you're buying the bag, so that insulation and the bag and the pad and everything is all working together. And then if you're male or female, that makes a difference as well. So male sleepers are typically warmer sleepers than female sleepers. So there are women's sleeping bags out there and there are men's sleeping bags out there. Today, we're looking at men's sleeping bags, but I think some of these bags have women's versions as well. If they do, you could probably find those on their websites of the manufacturers that we're gonna talk about. Okay, so let's just get started with the expensive one right now. This is an extremely expensive bag. This is the Western Mountaineering Alpenlight. This is a $600 sleeping bag. Why is this thing $600? Well, people on the internet seem to think that this is the best sleeping bag in the universe. So right away when you look at this thing, it's like looking at like the car in the garage that you never want to drive because it's just that awesome of a car. It's like the classic car. It's the car that you go out and wax every day. That's this sleeping bag. It is a masterpiece. This thing is seriously sewn like I've never seen anything sewn before. It is meticulously made. It is filled with 900 fill down, which is amazing. This thing only weighs 2 pounds and is actually comfort rated, like the real comfortable rating of 20 degrees. So when you get inside of this bag, you're gonna actually be comfortable, supposedly comfortable, at 20 degrees. Now that depends on your body type, if you're a warm sleeper, if you're a male, if you're a female, if you have, you know, the right sleeping pad underneath you, all that stuff. But a couple features that I noticed right away about this bag are, it's a little bit wider than normal. So it's a mummy style bag, which just means that the bag kind of tapers like a mummy to the feet, but it's a little bit wider and you're not gonna feel as claustrophobic inside of this bag. It's got a nice, huge, awesome hood, draft collar around the inside, tensions around the head, also tensions around your neck. And what's really cool about this bag is it has this tape right here that is put there so that the zipper pretty much never ever snags. So when you're zipping it and unzipping it, it just doesn't snag, which is really nice. Because that's the worst thing in the world when you're in your tent at night and you are trying to adjust, or you need to get out and use the bathroom or whatever, and you can't get that thing to unzip, it's just a nightmare. So that's a really, really cool feature. The other cool feature about this is that it's a double zipper, which means that it'll unzip from the bottom, so you can vent down by your feet if you want to, if you're getting really hot. The bag is made in the United States of America, so it is pure USA made, which is really nice. And the loft on this thing is absolutely incredible. I never felt claustrophobic inside of it at all. I literally just want to get on the table and just sleep right now in this thing. That's how awesome of a bag this is. Is it worth 600 bucks? I mean, people seem to think so online. This thing is got ratings out the roof. You pretty much can't find anything but like top ratings on this bag. I don't know that there's any complaints that I've even found ever on this bag. So the warmth to weight ratio, in other words, how warm it keeps you for the weight of the bag, is probably the top of any bag out there that I've seen. Western Mountaineering does make lighter bags than this. They make one that's actually a little bit thinner and a little bit lighter. I think it's called their Mega Light, but it's a little bit narrower. So I wanted something that I could move around inside of and not feel super claustrophobic, and this one definitely fits the bill. So Western Mountaineering, probably the best expensive bag on the market. You can find everything that we're talking about in the links below and at backcountry.com. One of the best parts about Backcountry is its ease of use when you're trying to find gear. It just finds things for you when you're sorting things out on their website. And then you have the ability to talk to gearheads. You can chat with them. They're former Olympians, former trail guides, former athletes, and these guys know their stuff. I have used them myself to help me find the right gear for my trips when I'm out in the backcountry. Backcountry, no pun intended. Also, I do have a coupon code. It's Dan15. I'll put that right here on the screen for you. Some exclusions do apply, but you can try that code out on specific items, and it should help you guys out by saving you a couple bucks. All right, next on the list, this is the THERMAREST HYPERION 20-degree bag. This too is an amazingly awesome bag, but it is a little bit cheaper than the Western Mountaineering. Actually $200 cheaper. This one comes in around 400 bucks. And I say around 400 bucks because there are different size options for this bag, so you can get it short or long. So the weights vary and everything on these bags because of that. But this one also has 900 fill down on the inside of it. But the down is actually placed in such a way that the idea of this bag is that more of the insulation is on top and less of the insulation is on the bottom. So the bottom here has 30% of the insulation. The top has 70% of the insulation. So this bag really is meant for the person who is not gonna move around a lot at night. You're really gonna lay on your back the whole time. However, I did find that I could roll around inside the bag okay, but that's just because it also has these straps underneath it that will attach to a sleeping pad, which is really nice because that holds the bag in place. But there are definitely some drawbacks to this bag in that it is really, really narrow at the feet. So you are gonna feel constricted in this bag for the most part. I didn't feel like claustrophobic in it. I felt like okay, but I like keep my arms up higher. I don't like keep them down in the bag, and I feel like if you keep your arms in the bag, that's a little more constricting. That's just how I sleep, with my arms like underneath my head and that kind of thing. So it's rated to 20 degrees, but that's not the comfort rating, that is their transition rating. So right inside the bag, and you gotta give props to THERMAREST for doing this, you'll see that they have 3 ranges of ratings for this bag. They've got a comfort, they got a transition, and they have a risk rating. So this bag they rated like right in the middle of the rating system. It's the transition rating. So what that means is at 20 degrees, you're gonna probably be pretty cold in this bag, but it's like bearable, and they're probably assuming that you're gonna have a lot more layering, or you're gonna figure out a way to make the bag warmer other than just having the bag. So if you're looking for a comfort rating in a bag like this bag is gonna be comfort rated at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a lot higher than the listing on the bag, which is another reason why I say you gotta add degrees to bags when you're buying them. So when you see that number, add 10, maybe 15 degrees to really get the true rating of that bag. But I think people love this bag so much because it is so lightweight for what you get out of it. This bag comes in at, I can't even remember, but I'll put it up on the screen. It's an amazingly lightweight bag. And this thing packs down to almost the size of a Nalgene bottle. But a drawback of the bag is that you're only gonna get a zipper that's gonna go halfway down the bag. So if you wanna vent, you can do it, but you're only gonna be able to vent up to like your hips. So you're not gonna be able to like air out with your feet or anything in this bag. But that's, again, not what this bag is for. This is for the guy who's gonna hike a ton of miles or just wants the most ultralight sleeping bag humanly possible. It does have a nice hood on it, but it doesn't have like the draft collar of the Western mountaineering, so you can't cinch it around your neck. And the other thing that it does have is it's got a little bit of a piece of fabric here, so that way it should help from snagging zippers, which I found that it's okay with, but see, like right there, it just snagged. So it's not the best. So this thing does snag a little bit on you. But other than that, what you're paying for is the lightweightness, and you're paying for a 900 fill down, which is part of the reason why this bag is so light and packable. All right, and the next bag on the list, the last bag on the list, is this one right here. This is the budget bag on our list. This is the KELTY Cosmic Down 20. Now right away you probably noticed that this bag doesn't loft up as much, and the reason for that is because it's got a 600 fill down on the inside of it, so these feathers are really small, and it took a ton more to pack inside of this thing to get the loft that it needs to provide the insulation that it needs. So this thing weighs quite a bit more than the THERMAREST. I'm gonna say it probably weighs 1.5 pounds, possibly more, depending on which one you get, because again, there's different varying weights for each of these bags depending on how long they are. But this one's also rated for 20 degrees, at least on the bag, but that's an EN comfort limit, according to their website, which really is telling you that it's that transition range or the lower end of the rating. So this bag is probably only good to, man, I would say the mid 30s. So when you're considering buying this bag, don't expect to get it down to 20 degrees unless you're gonna have some serious layering while you're sleeping in this thing. But this thing is feature packed for what you get. This thing has a cool little zipper on the outside, which is nice if you want to put like a, I don't know, like a water filter in there, or maybe a battery bank or a cell phone or something in there to keep it warm throughout the night, so maybe your battery doesn't die or your water filter doesn't freeze. And it's also got a nice, really nice hood on here. It's got a draft collar around the top and around your neck area. It's missing the cinch around your neck like the Western mountaineering bag. But this one does have a double zipper pretty far down, so you can, you know, vent the bottom if you want to. This one also has little loops around the side here, so you can strap this to a sleeping pad just like the THERMAREST. And this one is built similar, and I would say size, to the Western mountaineering, in that it's going to have a ton of room on the inside, so you can roll around on the inside of this thing without having to move the bag around with you. And the insulation, I think, from what I've seen, is the same throughout. So if it does come up on its side, you know, when you're sleeping, you're still going to have that insulation behind you, so you can lay on your side and not have to worry about that. This bag is heavier, but it's priced right. This thing comes in under $200, and for what you get for a sleeping bag, I would say that this bag is for the guy who wants to up his game from a synthetic bag, from a car camping bag to their first down bag. And maybe you're the person who's not really super concerned about tons of miles, and maybe you're only backpacking just a few times a year. This is the bag for you, especially if you're looking for a budget bag. Now, 200 bucks or under 200 bucks sounds expensive for a down bag. It's not for what you get for this bag. So I am pleasantly surprised with this thing, and I had a really nice sleeping experience in it. All right, so do I think that the internet was right in picking these 3 bags as the best expensive, the best mid, and the budget bag, best budget bag out there? Absolutely, I do. I can't believe how awesome these bags are, even this bag. All right, so this wasn't really a review. Maybe it was, kinda. But I just wanted to show you in person and just talk about what I think are the internet being actually right in picking out 3 of the best bags out there. All right, if you guys like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also subscribe for more. Hit the bell notification so that I can send you a video every time it's released. Also, my Instagram I'll put right here, and I will see you on the next one.